After the silence broke, the phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, its screen flashing a name that wasn't mine, Lila. My chest tightened as if a fist had clamped around my heart. The glow of the screen burned into my eyes, a beacon in the dim morning light filtering through our apartment's cracked blinds. I stood frozen, spatula in hand, the eggs sizzling in the pan behind me, their acrid smell mixing with the sour dread pooling in my gut. It was 6:43 a.m., and my wife, Elise, was still asleep, or so I thought. I didn't touch the phone. Not yet. Instead, I stared at it, the name Lila pulsing like a warning. Elise's phone had been a fortress lately, always face down, always locked, always whisked away before I could glance at it. But this. A text at dawn from someone I'd never heard of. My mind raced, conjuring excuses, a coworker, a gym friend, a cousin she'd forgotten to mention. I wanted to believe anything but the truth clawing at the edges of my thoughts. The eggs scorched. I snapped off the burner, the hiss of the gas fading into the oppressive quiet. My hands trembled as I reached for the phone. The lock screen demanded a passcode, her birthday, I knew it well, but my fingers hovered, paralyzed by the weight of what I might find. I set it back down, the plastic case cold against my palm, and told myself it was nothing. Just a text. People text all the time. But it wasn't nothing. The air in the apartment felt heavier, the walls closer, as if the space itself knew something I didn't. I poured coffee, the dark liquid sloshing into the mug, and tried to focus on the day ahead. Meetings, emails, the usual grind. Yet my eyes kept darting to the phone, now silent, its screen black. I imagined Elise waking up, her soft yawn, the way her hair spilled over the pillow like a cascade of chestnut silk. I imagined her seeing the text, her lips twitching into a secret smile. My stomach churned. When she emerged from the bedroom, barefoot in her oversized t-shirt, she looked like the woman I'd loved for 7 years, open, warm, mine. "Morning," she mumbled, rubbing her eyes. Her voice was soft, but there was a tightness in it, a note I couldn't place. She grabbed her phone without looking at me, her thumb swiping the screen awake. I watched her face for a tell, a flicker of guilt, a flush of panic. Nothing. Just the same tired expression she wore most mornings. "Sleep okay?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. "Yeah," she said, already typing, her fingers moving too fast. "You?" I nodded, sipping coffee that tasted like ash. The silence stretched, punctuated by the clink of her spoon against her cereal bowl. I wanted to ask about Lila, to demand who she was, but the words stuck in my throat. What if I was wrong? What if I sounded paranoid, jealous, weak? Instead, I said, "Big day today." She glanced up, her hazel eyes catching the light. "Just the usual. Meetings, reports. Oh, and I might go to the spa later. Feeling a bit unappreciated, you know?" Her tone was light, but the word landed like a blade. Unappreciated. It hung between us, sharp and accusing, though I couldn't tell if it was aimed at me or herself. "A spa day?" I echoed, forcing a smile. "Sounds nice." "Yeah, I deserve it," she said, her voice hardening. "Work's been hell, and I just need to feel seen." She looked at me then, really looked, and for a moment, I thought she might confess something. But she didn't. She stood, kissed my forehead, a perfunctory peck, and disappeared into the bathroom, her phone clutched in her hand. The day dragged. At work, I stared at spreadsheets, the numbers blurring into meaningless patterns. My mind replayed every moment of our marriage, the late nights she'd started working, the sudden business trips, the way she'd pull away when I reached for her in bed. Small things, easily explained, until they weren't. I checked my phone obsessively, half expecting a text from her, half dreading one from someone else. Nothing came. By evening, I was unraveling. I drove home through a city that felt alien, the neon signs and honking horns amplifying the chaos in my head. When I walked into the apartment, Elise was there, her hair damp from a shower, her skin glowing with that post-spa radiance. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Hey, you're early," she said, her voice too bright. "How was the spa?" I asked, setting my keys down with deliberate calm. "Amazing," she said, launching into a story about massages and saunas, her words tumbling out too fast, too detailed. I nodded, but my eyes drifted to her phone on the couch, its screen dark again. I imagined the texts it held, the secrets it guarded. I imagined Lila, a faceless woman with a voice that could unravel my life. "Elise," I said, my voice low, "who's Lila?" Her face froze, just for a second, before she laughed, a brittle, unconvincing sound. "Lila. Oh, she's just a friend from work." "Why?" "She texted you this morning. Early." Her eyes flickered, not to me, but to the phone. "You looked at my phone." Her tone wasn't accusatory, it was defensive, sharp. "It was on the counter," I said, my heart pounding. "I saw the name." She crossed her arms, her posture closing off. "It's nothing, Matt. Just work stuff." "Then show me," I said, the words spilling out before I could stop them. "Show me the texts." Her silence was deafening. The room seemed to shrink, the air thick with unspoken truths. She didn't move toward the phone. She didn't deny anything. She just stood there, her lips parted, her eyes wide with something that looked like fear or guilt. "Matt, you're being ridiculous," she said finally, but her voice cracked. "You don't trust me." "I want to," I whispered. "God, I want to." The argument that followed was a blur of raised voices and half-truths. She swore Lila was a colleague, that the texts were about a project, that I was overreacting. But her hand shook, and her excuses faltered. I grabbed her phone, my fingers fumbling with the passcode. Her birthday, always her birthday, and when it unlocked, I saw it. A thread of messages, dozens of them, laced with words no colleague would use. "Miss you, last night was incredible, can't wait to see you again." The world tilted. I dropped the phone, the clatter echoing in the silence. Elise's face crumpled, tears welling, but I couldn't look at her. I saw the apartment in fragments, the coffee stain on the rug, the crooked frame on the wall, the life we'd built now shattered. "How long?" I asked, my voice hollow. "Matt, I didn't mean," she started, but I cut her off. "How long?" 6 months, she whispered. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of her slipping away while I clung to the illusion of us. I wanted to scream, to break something, but all I felt was a crushing emptiness. "Why?" I asked, the question raw, desperate. She sank onto the couch, her hands twisting in her lap. I felt invisible. "You were always working, always distracted." "Lila, she saw me. She made me feel alive." I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "And me? What about me?" "I love you," she said, her voice small. I never stopped. But love wasn't enough, not anymore. I walked out, the door slamming behind me, the sound final. In the car, I sat in the dark, the city pulsing around me, and realized the twist I hadn't seen coming. I'd known, deep down, all along. The late nights, the locked phone, the spa day to feel appreciated. I'd seen the signs and chosen to ignore them, because believing in her was easier than facing the truth. Now, the truth was all I had left. And it burned.